Shalom, my name is Yehoshua. This video is being made from Jerusalem. In The Religion of Fear, I'm commenting upon by Pat Donnell. Your profanity is unnecessary. Your indictment of the Islamic world for its extremes, which are very significantly the minority, is unjust. And it's the fact that it's true it does not change the parallel fact that it's unjust. Having said that, the context in which we are in history is the collapse of the local reality, which as an atheist you would know nothing about because you're too busy with your own truth and your self-indulgence in your truth, which is man's truth, to have noticed. The collapse of the local reality ends the exile of man and mankind from God and from himself, the latter being the particular problem that you're afflicted with. You don't believe in God because you don't believe in you. And all of your videos and your protestations convince no one. You don't know who you are, and because you don't know who you are, you don't know God. And if you did know who you are, you would know the God of the cosmos. Having said that, your indictment of the Muslim world in general, and the religion of Islam, and of the Christian world, there is no doubt that the two religions have a hitch in their get-along. But now the good news. Pat, we're all on the same page these days, and it's not the result of or the fault of anyone, but the God of the cosmos, who doesn't exist for Pat because Pat doesn't exist, has brought the end of man and mankind's exile. That puts us all on the same page. So we're going to see some incredibly complex fundamental transformations in Christianity and in Islam in the years and decades ahead. And the world, the very significant, vast majority in the Islamic world is moderate, is intelligent, educated, sensitive, kind, not brutal, does not hold with the extremes that you obsess about in your video and unjustly indict the entire world. Yes, we have to speak out. Yes, we should not be cowardly. Yes, when these abuses occur, I agree with those. But the way in which you're going about it, which is a blanket indictment, is quite unfair. Just as we do things in Israel in the name of Zionism, and it would be exceedingly inappropriate and unjust to indict Klal Yisrael, which comprises a diaspora with a population larger than in the nation of Israel, for the misjudgments and the behaviors locally here. Having said that, now that we have the collapse of the local reality around the globe, and the end, which has brought the end of man and mankind's exile, that brings us to the quantum reality. And the question is, what is the quantum reality? And it is receiving to give, giving to receive. I give, I get. That's the anthropologic, sociologic, psychologic model of man and mankind's mind. That model has collapsed around the globe. And the quantum reality that replaces is receiving to give. And receiving what? Receiving the authentic you. To give the authentic you, to yourself, to your family, to your community, and to your nation. That you've not received yet, and nor has nor has the world. So, but the Muslim world is very much resonating to this message, and understands that the context in which we are in history, which you are so critical of, and significantly in part correctly critical of, is the end of behavioral man. The exile of man is behavioral man, and the ascent of man and mankind to the quantum reality and the habitation of receiving to give is cognitive man, and that's the world in which Pat Donald grew up in, and still clings to ground zero of its collapsed local reality. And you don't know this, and you're convincing lots and lots of people that you're quite you've got quite the insights, and you understand all of the failings of the Muslim world. Um, there are there are a significant number of very remarkable scholars in the Muslim world who are very, very much aware and sensitive to the inherent abilities, limitations, and the dysfunctionality of the religion, and seek and look forward to the universal transformation of behavioral man to cognitive man in the context of Humanomics in general and its central organizing principle, receiving to give. Now, there's an enormous amount of development that has to occur between the culture-specific deconstruction, deprogramming, restoration, and healing that has to go forward as a process for all of the cultures around the world. But we're all now, whether we know it, whether we like it, whether we accept it or we don't, whether Christian or Jew or Muslim, whether atheist, communist, whatever, we're all on the same page, and that same page happens to be the redemption of man and mankind, and it's not a choice, Pat. And so your atheism is the atheism that you profess stands on very shaky legs. But you ask for proof. Can you tell me? Do you want more proof than 9/11? And so what's 9/11? Well, if you know the meta-narrative of 9/11 and not the official narrative, the official narrative is, hijacked planes, and you're telling us about all the evils that explain it. But that's those all derive, and your accusations all derive from the context of the official narrative. The meta-narrative reveals something very spectacular and different in history, and confirms, as does tsunami. But maybe you missed these events, and if you read into them, if your limitations are only to the official narrative of these events. We had 3 intifadas in Israel. There's the official narrative of 1,000 Jews being murdered in all of these bus bombings and everything, and 5,000 Palestinians being murdered by us, 5,000 Jews injured, 1,000 killed, 5,000 Palestinians killed, 50,000 injured. You're missing the meta-narrative. So the grammar of that meta-narrative is quite spectacular, but being someone who doesn't believe in God, I wouldn't bore you with the meta-narrative. Having said all of this, I thank you for listening. We're in a new world, Pat, and you're in denial, and when you end the denial, the good news or the bad news, whatever your perspective would be, get to it. Ground zero is waiting on the personal, family, communal, and national level for deconstruction. And when you get through with deconstruction, you got to get to work again as an individual with the deprogramming. So these are the tasks that are ahead of you. You might have said, that's not for me. I'm going to cling to my truth and stay in the old world. Okay, so I'm not going to argue with you, but that's the reality we're in. Man and mankind goes forward, and it's not an option. So thank God, and we bless you from Jerusalem in Kabel B'Shvilatet, the Hebrew. In English, receiving to give, receiving the authentic you to give the authentic you to yourself, your loved ones, your family, your community, your nation. I'm Yehoshua Yaakov. Thank you very much for listening.